My beloved brothers and sisters, the first point that I want to mention to you all is everything happens for a reason. There's not a thing that happens in the cosmic universe except that it happens for a reason. Whether we see the wisdom in it or not. You have people always asking, what does Islam say about this? What does Islam say about that? Oh, it doesn't actually make sense to me because it doesn't fall in line with my logic. Even when you look at the way this is being worded and phrased, you begin to think, is Islam a person? What does Islam say? Does Islam say this? As if you are not a Muslim, the way this question is asked. Maybe let's change it around and say, what does Allah say about this? And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed this particular thing to happen in my life, sometimes I don't see the good in it. And it makes people question the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's really a God, why is all of this bad and evil happening to me? And I'm going to put that into quotation marks. Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi mentions the following. And this is very, very important because we hear a lot of these sentiments being thrown around in university settings. And I call university settings a breeding ground for kufr, shirk, fahisha, all types of filth, isms, the rainbow team, everything is there. Everything is there, brothers and sisters, pulling us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, and the message that He left with us. So it doesn't at times make sense to us. ماذا قال ابن تيمية رحمة الله عليه? He says, there isn't anything أن الله عز وجل لا يخلق شرا محضا. There's nothing that Allah Azza wa Jal creates that is purely evil. This is something that is subjective. When things happen in your life that you may perceive to be negative, it is happening for a reason. It is subjective. Whether you see the good in it or not, my brothers and my sisters, there is divine wisdom in it. You may come to know about the wisdom behind it, and you may not. But remember, you are a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. حَيْثُ الْقِيدْ إِنْقَادْ. Wherever Allah Azza wa tells you to go, you go. Because we are what? We are slaves of Allah Jalla fi'ula. And sometimes we forget that. With the way we carry ourselves, the way we conduct ourselves. What is the point that I'm getting at, my brothers and my sisters? This important misconception that people have. When something bad happens to me, all of a sudden now I begin to question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why always me? Do we not hear that? We feel as if we are missing out, right? I'll give you guys a couple of examples so you understand where I'm coming from. How many a time have we been in a position where we told ourselves, right, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have this today. How many a time, brothers and sisters, if that didn't happen, I would not have this today. In 2019, brothers and sisters, I came to the United States of America, the land of opportunity. And they sent me back from JFK Airport, 2019. I said to myself, you know what? Forget America, X. I don't think I ever want to come back here. Alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jal decreed that I came here now in 2022, and it wasn't easy getting inside here, brothers and sisters. I'm still recovering. Had a tough time at the airport, without going into too much detail, right? It was tough, brothers and sisters. But if you ask me now, would you have preferred to come in 2019 or now? I would tell you, hands on heart, without any hesitation, that I would prefer to come in 2022. So many things have happened within that period. And at the time, things were extremely different. I don't want to go into too much detail, but everything happens for a reason. Wallahi, even something that is even more ajib. There was this brother who was organizing conferences. He was a good friend of mine here in America, San Diego. He actually got so angry at me one time, so angry. He even insulted me. Right? He kind of made me feel as if I'm ignoring him, or I don't want to kind of like come to his program. He got so angry, he even insulted me. I got so scared that I went to see how can I actually get a visa. Maybe if he didn't react like that, I wouldn't be here today. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayruh. I was telling myself, this is not the time. Let me just finish this. Let me try and carry out this objective and this plan that I have. Forget about America. Everything happens for a reason. I honestly thought somebody got to his head, one of the brothers that I really respect, and they kind of like made him speak this particular way. Shaitan got to him, right? Everything happens for a reason, brothers and sisters. Back in 2007, brothers and sisters, one of my very, very close friends got shot in the head. His name was Shamaki Hassan, aka Shaki. Was shot in broad daylight. That tore my heart to pieces, brothers and sisters. He was a good friend of mine. But like I said before, right? Everything happens for a reason. It is subjective the way we look at it. This is an aqeedah related matter, brothers and sisters. We see a lot of these atheists from time to time when we have a discussion with them. If there's really, why is all of this happening? Remember, my friend, you have an intellect that is limited. We all have intellects, right? But it's limited. Why is it that they fail to understand that the intellect is limited? When you've accepted that your eyes are limited, can anyone see what's happening across the road? You can't, because your eyes are limited. Your ears are limited. You can't hear what's happening over there. What you can smell is limited as well. Our intellects are limited. When that which seems to us to be bad happens in front of us, we think, why is this happening? Or this is evil. You don't see the light in it, brothers and sisters. You don't see the positivity that comes out of it. So he gets shot. There were 4 generations of guys who were hanging around the streets. 4 generations. We were the younger out of all of them. We had our elders, then they had their elders, and then there was what? An elders before them. 4 generations. This would have continued, right? We was already planning on who's going to be our youngest, right? We need to pick them out. They are going to continue this legacy of filth and evil up until this brother got shot in the head. Wallah, I still remember it like it was yesterday. His parents requested for his dead body to be placed inside of a hut in front of the masjid. Have you guys ever went to a janazah where they had this body right there for everyone to walk in and out and see? You guys ever walked into a janazah like that? Wallahi, I walked into a janazah like that. And I was the only ever janazah, right, where we had a body right there in front of the masjid, inside of a hut for people to go in and out, so they can see that dead body with a hole in the head. From the apparent, it looks bad, right? How can this happen? How could Allah Azza wa Jalla take him away from me, or take him away from us? As friends, we are going through sadness and misery, right? We're hurt. That's the only thing that we tend to focus on, right? When things like that happen. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, I get flashbacks from time to time. As human beings, we forget things, right? If we didn't forget things, we'd go crazy. It's actually a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal that we as human beings, we forget. And some things, subhanAllah, just stick with us forever. I think something that will stick with me forever is my experience at the airport. Allahu A'lam. This was one of those experiences. Every now and again, I remember his body lying there with a hole in the head. I even remember where on his head it was. But everything happens for a reason. أليس كذلك؟ بلى. That brother being shot, even though previously people died, that brother being shot was the reason why everyone dispersed. They left the streets. You know what made me leave that environment? You guys really want to know? Because everything happens for a reason, right? We might as well just call the muhadara, the lecture today. Everything happens for a reason. I was the type of person, my brothers and my sisters, who was a brave heart. I wasn't the strongest of people, but I was brave. I'd go and fight, I'll get dropped. And I'll stand back up again. I'll put my body on the line for all of my friends who I really, really thought were true to me. Wallahi al-azim. I could be doing whatever it might be, I'll come running just to be by his side. So he looked great. When he got shot, Allah Azza wa Jal, and I put this down to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed me to see at a time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed me to see that none of his friends done anything. None of his friends done a single thing after he was shot in the head. Some of the sisters probably thinking to themselves, okay, what has this muhadara got to do with me? You're just speaking about guys and you're speaking about boys. I'll tell you guys. How many a time do we do things for others at the expense of displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? How many a time do we do that which displeases Allah Azza wa, thinking, this girl is going to get upset with me, or we're going to stop vibing after this and whatever have you? Not a single person got off his backside to do something for this guy, or to at least try and go and look for that person who shot him in the head. No one. And I seen that, noticed it. It was then when I said to myself, my brothers and my sisters, if I do something tomorrow, something happens to me, these guys are not going to care while I'm there putting my body on the line. Who's the only one that's going to care? After you are maybe what? Thrown into prison because you were doing certain errands for others. Right? Who's the only one that's going to care? A lot of the time it's just the parents, guys. You know, parents that we disrespect, right? Parents that are backwards, right? That's what we call them, backwards. They don't know what's going on. We laugh at them, we actually ridicule them. Right? You know, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one time he came out and he said, مِنَ الْكَبَائِرِ شَتْمُ الرَّجُلِ وَالِدَيْهِ. From the major sins is one insulting his parents. The Sahaba were like, what? Someone comes out and insults his parents. Kaif? That was unheard of. Now let me ask you a question. Is this something that happens here? Do people insult their parents? ولا هذا غير معروف. Is it different here in America than the UK? الشيخ قال معروف زيادة. It is known and even more. كيف يا رسول الله? Someone's going to insult his parents, and then the Messenger explained what he meant by it. A man, he insults the parents of another. Let's just say I insult his parents. It's like me insulting my own parents. Subhanallah. That's what it's meant here. مِنَ الْكَبَائِرِ شَتْمُ الرَّجُلِ وَالِدَيْهِ. From the major sins, one insulting his parents. Shame on us, wallahi al-azim, brothers and sisters. Allah says, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفْ. Right? Don't say uff to your parents. You know what uff is? You know when something gets stuck inside of your nails? Trying to take it out. Uff. It's not coming out. Something as small as that. Let alone anything else. Wallahi al-azim, I came to know about a case where one is actually beating up his parents, a relative of mine. He's beating up his mother. He gets physical with her. The point in all of this is, my brothers and my sisters, wallahi guys, take this from me. I've seen it happen enough times. A guy will come out and he will write on Facebook, hit the road soon, my bro. He writes that down. In a couple of weeks, he's forgotten about you. Recently I was going through the kitab, At-Tadhkirah by Al-Qurtubi rahmatullahi alayh. He has a whole chapter where he speaks about how an individual forgets about you the moment you die. How quickly one forgets about you the moment you depart from this world. One of my relatives was on the phone to me before I came to America, right? And he kept on saying to me, how is it that my aunties and my uncles, they just went back to life? Because his mother passed away. She committed suicide, fortunately. Allah yarhamha. She threw herself off, I think it was the 5th floor or so. And he went through a lot of pain. He breaks down from time to time. I took him on Umrah. Went through a lot. And he's saying to me, my mother was there for her sisters and her brothers. Everyone is just like going weddings now. Everyone's just going back to life as usual. Forgot. That's exactly what happens, brothers and sisters. Allah, I heard this reminder the other day. It's not me who came with this reminder or who invented it, but I think it was beautiful. I'll relate it. The brother was talking about, subhanAllah, how if you want to know really where you stand, right? Because we walk on the face of this earth extremely haughty, thinking that we've become something, right? We start talking to people, our parents, the people that we respected once upon a time, in a way, we've become something. The moment you die, my brothers and my sisters, did you know that you no longer have a name? They say, bring in the dead body. Put down the dead body. Take the dead body. That's what's become your name. Dead body. Dead body. Where's that name that you had? I don't know what you guys call it. Tag names? Or nicknames? Huh? So-and-so hoods. Huh? I don't know what you guys call one another. Huh? Or Mosey. Biggie. Huh? All types of names that we have for one another. Sahih. That name is no longer there. You're nothing more than a dead body. Put down the dead body, pick the dead body up. Carry the dead body on your shoulder. Do you ever hear someone saying, oh, move Muhammad? We need to wash Muhammad. No one says that. I've been enough in janazas, that never clicked, subhanAllah, up until I heard this reminder. Jazahullahu anna kulla khair. The people who are going to care the most, the moment you're thrown into that prison cell, it's none other than your parents, the people that we disrespected. And when you die, Allah, your friends are going to be there a couple of days. After that, khalas. Right? Even to you, my sisters, these friends, right, that we would always try to impress, they don't care much anymore. Right? So this brother, my brothers and my sisters, he got shot in the head. I came to realize no one's going to do anything. That's exactly what it is. No one done a single thing, brothers and sisters. And they left his body there just so everyone could walk in. Wallahi, I remember big men, right? Big men. They would walk in and they walk out, and they were running the drug dealing industry at the time. I still remember them like it was yesterday. And they would come out with their beards and their faces soaked with tears. Right? Who's the victim in all of this? A guy who departed from this world. Right? The guy who departed from this world. And sometimes, my brothers and my sisters, look, we keep telling ourselves, I shall and I will. I shall and I will. How many people went to sleep saying, I'm going to repent, I shall and I will. He went to sleep and he never woke up. He went to sleep, guys, and he never woke up. Just the other day, subhanAllah, I asked the brothers, how did the guy pass away? They said to me, he just went to sleep and never woke up. You know how old he was? 18 years of age. 18 years of age. Does that make sense, my brothers and my sisters? 18 years of age, he went to sleep and never woke up. Right? Like, you have to ask yourselves, my brothers and my sisters, how many reminders do I need constantly in order for me to awaken? in order for me to wake up from my intoxication that I'm currently suffering from. How many reminders? One of the benefits, and I mentioned it earlier, came to mind after the salah. One of the beautiful benefits that we can take from Surah Yusuf, guys, is, you know, when the brothers of Yusuf, out of jealousy, they were jealous of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, they conspired to murder him. They conspired to murder him. One of them suggested, "Uqtulu Yusuf, kill him." And after killing him, what's going to happen? وَتَكُونُوا مِن بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. After that, we will all become righteous. We will all become righteous. SubhanAllah. Isn't this the mentality that we suffer from? Just one night, just one time. No one's going to find out. No one's going to, come to know about what you're doing. Right? Just go to that place one time and you just quickly do that one move that no one's going to find out about. And things will go back to normal. And then I can always repent, the door of repentance open. I've still got my whole life ahead of me. I've got my whole life ahead of me. Sahih? Especially if you're a university student coming from a different state. And going clubbing is extremely cheap, sir. Everything is inviting you. Hey, Telek! Let's do it! Let's get it on! So easy to commit haram, and the shaitan's whispering, just one night. وَتَكُونُوا مِن بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. And after that you'll become righteous people. Sahih. So I think that's something, brothers and sisters. Every single Eid. You guys know what Eid is? We wait for it, right? After Ramadan. Can't wait. Man, that fasting. That's extremely what? Tiring. Can't wait to get out of it. Right? He's staying away from haram, but then he's telling himself, Eid's going to be, inshallah ta'ala, around the corner, and then I can just go back to my ways again. I can enjoy myself on the day of Eid. Every single Eid, brothers and sisters, wallahi, every Eid, I hear about someone who died either with alcohol in his mouth, or died inside of a car blasting music, or died inside of a club, or died inside of a room with a woman they shouldn't have been with. Every single Eid I hear something like that. After we sin, we'll all become righteous people, we'll all repent. The door of repentance is open. Sahih. The last thing that came out of his mouth was none other than what? The filth that he was doing, or jumping up and down inside of that club, singing a particular R&B or a hip-hop song, and what's coming out of his mouth. I'm going to share something with you guys that's extremely personal. Approximately 20 years ago, I was walking down Finsbury Park. It's an area in North London. You guys know where London is, right? In London we have north, south, east, west. I was in North London. I was walking down the road of one of these areas. I ran into my uncle. At the time, I had a couple of hairs growing on my face. I had a couple of hairs growing on my face. I was very young. Maybe what? 12 years of age, and I had my little brother with me, right? Some hairs. They looked a little bit like whiskers. So my uncle says to me, Muhammad, why are you growing your beard? He's trying to be all righteous and everything, Because, when you go older, that's when you can grow your beard. I wasn't even growing my beard because the Prophet ﷺ done it. The only reason I was growing is because my mum threatened me. She goes, if you shave off your beard, I'm kicking you out of the house. I was like, Abshir. Abshir, ya no problem. Ala shanak. My uncle, you know how old he is now? He's over the age of 70. I told you guys I was my younger brother, right? My younger brother is no longer walking on the face of this earth, guys. He's no longer walking on the face of this earth. 24 years of age, he was stabbed in the neck. 24 years of age. Did he have his whole life ahead of him? His whole life. My uncle was saying the whole life. 24 years of age, he was stabbed in the neck. A couple of months after that go by, brothers and sisters, I lose a cousin. You know how old he was? 22 years of age, car crash. I heard here in Philly, everyone drives. 16-year-old drives. Sahih? Have you guys ever wondered why the insurance is a lot more higher for a 16-year-old than maybe a 30-year-old? Does anyone know? Huh? Jameel? Huh? New driver? Sahih? New driver. He's a bigger risk on the road. Right? Youngsters tend to be a lot more reckless. Died in a car crash at the age of 22, brothers and sisters. I washed both of their bodies. Sorry, I buried both of them and I washed one of them. I buried both of them with my own 2 hands. You know, my brothers and my sisters, a car crash or a stab wound or a shot, whatever it might be, right? We all accept that this is what a means from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's just a means. But their time was finished. If you bring the west to the east and the north to the south, his time was finished. All of this is a cause for him now to finish his ajal, his time. Are you promises with me? A couple of months go by, guess who I lose? Another cousin of mine at the age of 18 was stabbed in the chest in one of the most busiest roads in Birmingham. Wallahi al-Azim. These guys are not old, brothers and sisters. These guys are not old. Any of us could walk out of here when driving, or a moment of madness, right? Road rage, whatever you call it. One wrong move, right? One wrong move. You have danger and you have anger. What's the difference between danger and anger? One letter. That moment of anger, that moment of madness, danger. Anger, you had a D, danger. All these guys that are passing away, brothers and sisters, does it not make us wake up? Does it make us realize, okay, I need to do something about my life? Like, common question is, okay, where do I start? What do I do? I'm going to give you guys 5 things. I know there's a lot of people here that are spiritually dead, empty, sad, miserable. Wallahi al-Azim, guys. You guys know. You know who contacts me on a regular basis? Rappers that have blue ticks on Instagram. You guys know what the blue tick means? Means he's verified, certified, huh? He's a big shot. Approved by Instagram. I don't have the blue tick yet, so I'm not, you know. So they message me, and I'm thinking, why is he messaging me? It's not like he wants my followers, he doesn't want to shout out. Huh? You go onto his Instagram page, and the guy has, subhanAllah, all types of, you know, images of him, money, cars, he's got everything. Girls. So why is he messaging me? We start speaking, one of the first things he sends me is the emoji. You guys know the yellow emoji with the tears? Why is he sending me that? And what's up with the guy, you know? Huh? The guy is depressed, he's empty. Even though he has all of this, guys. Wallahi, he has it. But they are spiritually dead. 5 things, guys. I hope you guys write it down. If you didn't take anything that I mentioned from the lecture, please write it on this side. I normally give it to university students. Practical things to start with. And inshallah ta'ala, you'll see your life taking a turn for the better. Some of you guys may have seen small little clips going around. Pieces and parts of these 5 things I'm going to mention to you guys now. What's number 1, guys? Good. Salah. I know some of us here came to the lecture needing that extra push. Brothers and sisters, I don't care what's happening in your life. What sin you have fallen into. brothers and sisters, do not leave off the salah. Even if you're not a hijabi. Even if you're someone who feels like, I'm not worthy, I just carried out this sin, right? Don't leave off the salah. You're the biggest drug dealer in the area, don't leave off the salah. I've mentioned this before, I'll say it again, right? I have friends that drug deal. Not like that, before you guys get all these thoughts. I have friends. We go out together, I take them out for lunch. I indoctrinate them, I brainwash them. Sometimes we take some of these guys for Umrah. We send them back brainwashed. One of these brothers was running the drug dealing industry in London. You guys heard me mention this story before? Oh wow, mashallah. Guys, listen to the videos, Running it. He's moving drugs from A to B. Wallahi guys, this is not some myth. Or a guy, brothers and sisters, he's running the drug dealing industry, moving drugs from A to B. Time in the salah kicks in, he stops his car. Takes out the prayer mat and he starts praying. Sounds strange, Drug dealer praying. No, it's not. You still have that duty with Allah Jalla fi'ula. Shaitan will make you feel, how can you pray? You got drugs in the car. 3 of his non-Muslim friends became Muslim. They were like, this guy's onto something. He never gets arrested. Let's become Muslim as well. Imagine that. And I know so many people like that. So many people like that. One of my brothers, if I mention his name, everyone's going to know who he is. Give his da'wah. This guy used to make music inside of his backyard. He used to make music. Because I started praying, and then all of a sudden I began to feel extremely uncomfortable in my environment. What does the salah do? Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. The salah removes the filth and the evil from your life. Does that make sense, brothers and sisters? Tell you guys about a brother. Only got a little bit left, and Shaykh Muhammad is going to do his lesson. I was one time driving on the streets of Leicester. You guys heard of Leicester? It's one of the cities in the UK. I call it Dar al-Hijra. Tell everyone to make hijrah there. I was driving around and I seen a bunch of brothers, they were smoking weed in front of me. I said, you know what, let me come out of the car, just give them a small little reminder, right? 2 minutes, They were respectful enough to switch off the weed. Is that what you guys call it? Switch it off? Or another word for it? Put it out. Put it out. All I said to them, brothers, look, is it fair? You have 24 hours in the day. 24 hours in the day. You can't give 25 minutes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm speaking to everyone here, right? Who prioritizes everything over Allah Azza wa Jalla. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, do you not feel bad doing that? We prioritize everything over Allah. When I find time, I'm going to go and pray. When I find time. But when you go to the interview for that job, you go suited and booted. Sahih? Suited and booted, right? Make sure you got the Giorgio Armani all over you. You're rehearsing before you go into that meeting room what you're going to say to that female, right? How am I going to shake her hands? And if you're a good guy, you're going to avoid that because you can't be touching that lady's hand. You're thinking about all of this. The biggest interview is what? Al-Malik al-Diyan. Allahu Jalla fi'ala. 25 minutes, brothers and sisters. Think about it. You take the salah out of the equation. What else do we have of Islam? Other than the name that you carry. What else are we doing throughout the day that is Islamic? You tell me now, go on. You take the salah out. We fast once a year, right? We do hajj once in a lifetime. Zakat we might pay, we might not. What else am I doing as a Muslim who has this identity that I carry. What's the difference between me and John? You tell me now if I'm not praying. Or the difference between Fatima and Charlotte. Or Joanne. So that's what I said to them. 5 years later, I see this brother, right? In Zamzam Pullman, it's one of the hotels in Medina, 5-star hotel. I was downstairs, and I was just receiving some of the Mu'tamirin, helping them get into their rooms. One brother comes up to me, huge, mashallah, got a big beard and he's got a thobe that he's wearing. And he says to me, do you remember me? Wallahi, this boy was one of the random guys that I see after election. I said, yeah, not really, no. He goes, you came up to us that night, we were smoking weed in front of you. Well, thank you for reminding me. Huh? You're smoking weed in front of my face. He goes, I just did exactly what you done. What you said at the time. I went into the masjid and I started praying. Slowly, I just began to feel extremely comfortable in that environment. Number 2, guys, very quickly. What's number 2? He says, staying away from bad people. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to go in order. Number 2 is, guys, the masjid. Like, sometimes I ask myself, are brothers scared of the masjid? You guys, drive into areas and you guys got drive-bys and whatever have you. You're ready to risk your life. But when it comes to the masjid, all of a sudden we feel, oh, I shouldn't go in there. Come on, guys. The house of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is Baytullah. Just look at the name. The house of Allah. And everyone is welcome. Every single person is welcome to the house of Allah Jalla fi'ala. Just to let you guys know, the house of Allah is not just for elderly. Sometimes you think that, right? The house of Allah is for who? The guy with the big beard? He's wearing a thobe? Who sits in the front, the masjid is only for him. One of those things that really increases your iman, guys, is going to the masjid. If you can't pray 5 times a day, brothers, 4, 3, 2. You can't do 2, brothers, 1. 1 prayer in the house of Allah Jalla fi'ala. Alhamdulillah, in the masjid that I go to, I see roadman coming into the masjid now for Fajr. If there's 1 prayer, brothers, 1 prayer, it's a Fajr prayer. Let me tell you guys something, right? And you tell me, after trying this, whether there's a big difference in your life or not. I'll give you guys the perfect morning. You wake up, maybe 15 minutes before Fajr. You do the night prayer. 2 rak'at. Maybe 1 rak'at of what? Witr. Can't do that 2, do that 1 rak'at of witr. This is when Allah Azza wa Jal comes down to the final heaven, right? ينزل ربنا تبارك وتعالى كل ليلة إلى السماء الدنيا أو الدنيا, depending on the riwayah. Allah comes down. And then after that, the adhan goes off, you pray 2 rak'at in your house, which is better than everything in the dunya. ركعتا الفجر خير من الدنيا ما فيها. Then you go to the masjid and you pray Fajr there. Right? An extra plus is to stay in the masjid till sunrise. Reading Quran. Wallahi al-Azim, brothers and sisters. You tell me if that doesn't spiritually empower you. That is the perfect. Brothers, I one time looked up the lives of all of these multi-billionaires. You guys heard of Warren Buffett? Everyone knows that. Warren Buffett. Guys heard of Jeff Bezos? Amazon. A lot of these multi-billionaires, you know what they all have in common? They wake up early. Like one time Jeff Bezos says, there's that period, in the morning, I feel that special power around me. Allah Azza wa Jal comes down to the last heaven. It's a very special part of the night. But he doesn't see that, right? So you see he goes, I meditate. Brothers and sisters, the kuffar, they wake up early morning to take his kalb, to take his dog out for a walk. Agreed, wala la? يأخذ كلبه, takes his dog for a walk. Huh? What do they call the dog? Man's best friend, huh? Takes him out for a walk. But we don't wake up al-Malik al-Dayyan. Go to the masjid, try that, guys. Give it a couple of days, just try it, see how you feel, almost instantly, spiritually. Everyone is welcome to the masjid. If a sister walked in and she's wearing a miniskirt because she walked out of the club and she wants to sit in the masjid for whatever reason, you have no right to push her away. Baytullah. Don't be the reason why you look down on others just because his hair is a certain way. No offense to anybody here. Everyone's welcome. I don't care how you look, my friend. Just as that old man has a right, you have every right to be there as well. Number 3, guys, a tawbah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Is that difficult? How many times did the Messenger ﷺ seek forgiveness? In a sitting? In some narrations 70, and in other narrations 100. And he didn't have any sins. Guys, we live in a sexualized society where women are used as objects, right? They are objectified, used as marketing tools. You see a toothbrush being sold, or toothpaste, a toothpaste, on a billboard being advertised, and right next to it is a half-naked woman. What on earth does a half-naked woman got to do with the toothbrush? You tell me. Because they realize that's what's going to grab a man's attention. Everything that we see around us that is so filthy, brothers and sisters, that is so distracting and whatever have you. Agreed? Isn't that affecting your heart? Sometimes you ask yourself, it's a very common question, I feel so in such a dark place. I feel down and miserable. I'll tell you guys what it is. What you keep on looking at on your phone goes a very long way how you feel inside of your heart. The hadith, نكتت فيه نكتة سوداء. Every time you do something that is wrong, a black dot is placed, and then more black dots, and then until it becomes dark. And then you feel that emptiness. You feel that darkness inside of your heart. What you keep on looking at. We're not in need of tawbah, guys. Astaghfirullah. So you know what's going to remove these black dots? Saying astaghfirullah. Kama warad al-hadith. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Constantly repenting to Allah Azza wa Jal. And we do so much and we don't do the astaghfirullah. Sahih? But the Prophet used to do it 70 or 100 times every sitting. Does that make sense, guys? Shall I give you guys a solution to maybe what pornography and all that stuff? These private sins that we're struggling to overcome. Number 1, guys. Every time you fall into that private sin, get up. Even if it happens 1,000 times. وَلَوْ أَلْفَ مَرَّةٍ كَمَا قال Imam Nawawi في Sahih Muslim. In the Sharh of the Muslim. وَلَوْ أَلْفَ مَرَّةٍ. But every time you're remorseful and regretful, I'm not going to do it again, but you fall into it again. Every time, get up, go make wudu, tahara, and then pray 2 rak'at in private. Every time that happens, do that. Whatever private sin it might be. And number 2, brothers and sisters, this is a practical step. For whatever sin it might be, sit down, take a pen and paper, and write down. What is it that constantly keeps causing me to fall back into the sin? It's one thing identifying the problem, it's another finding the solution. What is it that causes me to keep falling back into the sin? It could be the phone. Have you guys heard of the trap phone? What do you guys call it? Trap phone. You guys say trap phone. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, it might well be time to go back to these trap phones. Or the brick phone. You guys remember the phone where you used to play Snake on it? Wallahi, may well be time. For 20 days, they say if you do something for 20 days, it becomes a habit. There's research been done on the studies there. Can we function without the smartphone for a period? Yes, we can. What is it that's causing me constantly now to fall back into that sin? Wallahi, there's a brother recently, I told him to do that. And he kept on asking me, get the phone. Get rid of this phone. After the lecture that I did in his locality, he came running to me and he said, look, the guy's got the brick phone in front of me. Because ever since I brought this brick phone, I never went back to pornography or all this filth. And then let me know, inshallah ta'ala, how you're doing. Number 4. Number 4? Read a bit of Quran every day, guys. I think everyone here has memorized قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. أليس كذلك? If you're busy, you can't do this, guys. And number 5, brothers and sisters, and this is the most important aspect of everything that I've mentioned. I hope you guys have written down the 5 things. I'm giving you guys practical steps of how to live this kind of lifestyle. People are always, where do I start? I'm giving you guys these 5 things. And this is the most important thing now, guys. Talabul ilm. You have to study. Many people think that you only study if you want to become the next big sheikh. We just talked about now this private sin that some of us may be addicted to, sahih? We took a bit of knowledge that helps us navigate around it. This, my brothers and my sisters, is what ilm. I honestly believe, guys, that you cannot function in this world as a human being without ilm. You can't. Because people get depressed, people become miserable in their lives, even though they have money, they have everything. But they still don't seem to know how to navigate and maneuver around all of these problems. And that's when ilm comes in. I always say to brothers and sisters, right? I've got 2 minutes left. I always tell brothers and sisters this all the time. If I don't take away from the 10 years, I spent 10 years abroad, other than this one point, which is how to deal with problems, right? How to deal with people's problems. That would have been enough. And that's only a raindrop in an ocean when it comes to knowledge. Raindrop. Fitnatu shubuhat, fitnatu shahwat. Everything that we fall into, brothers, stems off from the fitna of doubts and the fitna of what? Shahwat, temptations. Atheism, liberalism, feminism, secularism, rainbowism, add everything to it. All of these doubts that we come across when we're in university. Anyone here studies philosophy at university? That teacher does not care whether you're a Christian or a Jewish or you're Islamic. He does not care. You're a person of religious, he's going to try and strip you of your religion. That's what a teacher cares about. All the doubts that come your way. Do you guys want to know one of the reasons why I actually left? Because I was studying civil engineering at a top university, but I left it. There was mainly 2 reasons. I was good at maths, innit? But I forgot everything now. I use a calculator on my phone. 2 reasons. I got accepted in Medina, so I had to make a decision. And you know what the second reason was? I would see people like me and you, learning about my religion. Our religion, guys, religion of Islam. What, so you can become guided? لِيَهْتَدُونَ? No. Just so they could use al-Islam against vulnerable Muslims who have no answer to their religion. Shaking their faith to the core. I'm like, these guys are learning my religion, I'm gonna stay here? You know what, forget it. Right, I'm not telling you guys to leave school or anything like that. I know your parents after me. There's already enough people trying to cause me problems. Just trying to be peaceful here, guys. I'm not telling that at all. And I'm saying, brothers and sisters, that's exactly what's happening. Ilm is going to help you navigate around all of these things, brothers and sisters. Ilm. Are you guys with me? Learn a little bit every day, brothers and sisters. Every day. Even if it's once a week, you just come, join the halaqah. Learn something. Look where this takes you, spiritually and mentally. Right? You know what's so sad, brothers and sisters? So sad. All of you guys, Jazakumullah khair, by the way, coming on a Thursday night. I know people got work, people got commitments and whatever have you. On a Thursday night, you guys packed out the masjid like this. And I hope to see you guys again tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. You guys all gonna come? You know what's so sad, guys? And Ata ibn Abi Rabah, he said this a long time ago. He said, right, أعزل الناس بأهل العلم أهلا. The people that will forsake a person of knowledge more than anyone in his own family. That you guys in Philly, right, have so many people of knowledge, but we don't benefit from them. Wallahi, it's ajib. In some places that I go to, sometimes I travel 4 hours, 5 hours by driving. They have no one. They are dying for a lecture. Dying for a lecture. How many people do you guys have, subhanAllah? Right, now we were sitting, subhanAllah, with 3 learned individuals. Spend a lot of time abroad. Sheikh Abu Muhammad, Sheikh Hanif, Sheikh Dr. Tahir White. And then you have Sheikh Muhammad Sufyan, who lives in this area, right? Who has, he comes from the same ethnic background as most of you guys, right? I always say this, guys, right? And I mentioned it in my Shirk Mas video. I've got a video called Christmas or Shirk Mas. It deserves to be called Shirk Mas. Right at the end, I mentioned something, guys. I'm going to talk a lot about it tomorrow, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the identity. Why is it all of a sudden now I end up going a certain direction? What is it that causes me now to lose my identity? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay? Do not be surprised, guys, tomorrow when your child is walking into the house and he's holding a Christmas tree. He's walking into the house with a Christmas tree. And you're saying, Muhammad, what are you doing? He goes, Dad, what? What's wrong? Even he's confused as to why you are objecting to what he's doing. Right? Let's talk about that more, inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow. Why that all of a sudden happens. 5 things, guys. The most important thing at the end is what? We have to seek knowledge. We have to. Right? Otherwise, this religion in our community is going to die. And we'll see ourselves as a community doing all sorts of crazy things. And it all stems up from a lack of knowledge. I know you guys have a lot of questions. We're going to do that tomorrow. Yeah? See you guys all tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala.